And hello and welcome inside the Galkey Activity Center, Mid-America Christian University, as it is time for the MACU Evangels basketball team to tip off its 2020-2021 season. I am Alex Reben. Thank you for joining us so much. What a year it was last season for the Evangels as they ended up going 30-2 overall, 19-1 in conference, take an outright Sooner Athletic Conference championship. Had earned a number 1 seed to the NAI National Tournament. Unfortunately, we know that was canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And, of course, that's going to ripple all throughout this season as well. This was not supposed to be the season opener. That was supposed to happen Tuesday, but that game had to be canceled against Ecclesia. MACU will take on Manhattan Christian, a team that has the benefit of a couple of games under their belt already. 0-2 on the year and a couple of losses for Manhattan Christian, but the Thunder also coming off an outstanding season. They were 19-11 last year, advanced to the NCCAA National Tournament. Now, MACU will be without 5 players today for various reasons, COVID and otherwise, but Coach Gamblin, his crew, ready to get things going here in 2020. We'll have the starting lineups and the tip in a moment. This is MACUathletics.com. And here are the starting lineups for today's season opener for the Evangels for the visiting Manhattan Christian College Thunder. Isaac Hagan, 6-foot senior guard from Palm Bay, Florida. Jordan White, 6'1" sophomore guard from Topeka, Kansas. Isaiah Collier, 6'3", senior forward from Lincoln, Nebraska. Jeff Butler, 6'1", senior guard from Holdridge, Nebraska. And Tanner Hayden, 6'5", freshman forward from Crescent, Oklahoma. Head coach of the Thunder, Jordan Strom, in his second season. He's assisted by Sheldon Webb, Zach Smalley, and Cord Pearson. And for the MACU Evangels, it'll be Demarius Brooks, 6-foot senior guard from Brookhaven, Mississippi, joined by Josiah Lewis, a 6'1" junior from Brooklyn, New York, newcomer to the program. Tony Kamanovich, 6'4", senior from Zagreb, Croatia. He's back after missing last year due to injury. Up front, it's Carlos Slaughter, 6'5", senior from Oklahoma City, and Marvin Lowe, a 6'7", senior from Tulsa. The head coach of the Evangels, Josh Gamblin, now in his sixth season. He's assisted by Anthony Nero, Bob Battisti, Dustin Welch, and Torrey Young. MACU 30-2 last year, 19-1 in conference. It was 17-0 here on this floor. Team's second ever regular season Sooner Athletic Conference title, and boy, just what a wonderful season it was. These teams played each other early last year. It was all MACU, 112-67, but for Manhattan Christian, everyone who played in that game is no longer on the roster, and for MACU, of course, not only with a lot of significant losses, some guys who are out today, most notably Tony Dorsey and Terrence Jones. It'll be Lowe and Hayden tipping things off, and it's won by MACU. They will go from left to right in the home whites. MACU across the front in red letters, red numbers on the front and back, red and black trim down the sides. Manhattan Christian opens up in man-to-man defense. It's Kamanovich on the left wing, bounce feed, left of the paint. Lowe to kick out to Slaughter, drives in. Gives some contact on the way to the basket on the left side, and MACU will have free throws coming up on their first possession of the season. Foul be on Hayden, his first and the team's first. Now, Carlos Slaughter heading to the line, such a versatile player for MACU last year, appeared in all 32 games, had to fill a few different roles, just kind of plugged in where he was needed due to injuries to others as Slaughter hits the first. Was only 18 of 35 at the free throw line last year. Second year in the program, the junior college transfer from Oklahoma City makes both free throws, and MACU with the early 2-0 lead. Manhattan Christian controlling their first offensive possession in their Navy jerseys today. Manhattan Christian on the front in white letters, white numbers on the front and back in a Thunderbolt pattern for the Thunder, and white down the side. Three-point attempt off the front of the iron by White, able to track down his miss near the corner, and another chance for Manhattan Christian. Hagens in front of the MACU bench, giving off to Collier, back to Hagens, and Hagens will be called for a travel. MACU was supposed to open up its season this past Tuesday against Ecclesia. That game was canceled, however. This was not originally on the schedule. These teams were originally supposed to play in early January. Fortunately, able to bump the game up to today. Lowe going right, spinning, reversing underneath the basket. And Marvin Lowe with his first bucket. No surprise, moving into the starting lineup this year after he was the backup big man at the 5 spot last season. Played extremely well last year in his first years in the program. White the kick out to Hayden. Collier long three over the outstretched arms of Slaughter, and it's a bad miss. MACU ahead 4-0. Here's Brooks. A lot of contact. Gets the shot up. Doesn't go, but 2 free throws coming up for Demarius Brooks. MACU strength last year was its depth, and certainly we're seeing that on display today. 3 guys who were consistent bench players last year but could have easily started. They're starting now, Brooks being one of them as he misses the first. A senior from Brookhaven, Mississippi, as Brooks last year appeared in all 32 games, 7.2 points per game. Outstanding three-point shooter, about 47% from beyond the arc. Last year at the free throw line is 72%. As the second one roll out as well. So an empty trip. MACU stays up in front 4-0. White getting into the front court for Manhattan Christian. They last played on Tuesday. Butler, pump fake, drives in. Backdoor feed to Collier. Back to Butler, pump fake. It is a 3, just barely behind the arc. Kamanovich able to gather the rebound near the far baseline. Cross-court pass to Slaughter. Leaves back to Kamanovich. Working around the free throw line. Bounce pass intended for Lewis, stolen away. But Manhattan Christian gives it back. Loose ball got batted around by Brooks and White. Eventually touched by White. MACU gets it back. Substitution for the Thunder, R.J. Johnson III. He's in for Butler. MACU had 4-0. Shade over 2 minutes into the game. 112-67, the final score last year when MACU played Manhattan Christian. Absolutely dominant first half, led at halftime 65-39 as Lowe dribbles it on the baseline and out of bounds. MACU in that game shot 67% from the floor in the first half, which included 8 of 14 from 3. They shot over 60% for the game. 5 players were in double figures. MACU nearly came up with another steal. Kavanovich kind of hand off it, went out of bounds. Ashford Golden had 20, Cedric Wright 16, Terrence Jones 14, Devon Moore 11, and Marvin Lowe with 10. White with the kick out to Hagans, 14 of the shot clock. Slaughter picks him up on the switch. Johnson back to Hagans, top of the circle. Johnson on the far side, angling to his left. The shot is short. Rebound attempted by Slaughter, tipped and grabbed by Collier, but Collier dragged his feet, and it'll be a travel. Mentioned Manhattan Christian has played a couple of games already this season. Most recently played on Tuesday, a loss at home against McPherson College, 87-75. Only led twice in that game, and never after was 13-11. Brooks, left side of the basket, up and under, a bit short, rebounded by Hayden. Hagans pushing up the far side for the Thunder. Working around, left side to Collier. Back to White, penetrating in. Floater is short, two-handed rebound by Lowe, and was fouled while corralling the rebound. Foul be on Hagans. His first, team's third. Ferdinand Handy Jr. in for Hagans. Handy was the team's leading scorer in that last game for Manhattan Christian. It's 4-0 MACU, 16:42 to go in the first half. And now it appears that Lowe is held, and that'll be the second on Hayden, who's been one of their better players through 2 games. So Tanner Hayden, the Central Oklahoma transfer, will come out. Freshman Garrett Harmison in. MACU with its first substitutions. Malik Malone and Omar Boone are in for Tony Kavanovich and Carlos Slaughter. Boone will be the trigger man, left of the basket. Having some trouble getting it in. Eventually shovels off to Lowe, gives it right back to Boone. Here's a Lewis, takes a dribble, pulls up for 3, off the back of the rim. Tipped around, grabbed by Harbison. Well, neither team shooting particularly well to start off today's game. Johnson lost his feet in the air, put it on the ground. Somehow the Thunder maintained possession. Collier thought about the 3, closed out by Malone, leaves it for Handy, chucks a 3 off the back of the rim. Long rebound comes to Brooks, who'll push towards the near side, lost control of the ball, taken away by the Thunder. Johnson in traffic, he has it lost. Boone, 1-on-2, right side. The foul is a block in the basket, good. Omar Boone had a deficit, did not care, went right at the hoop. Able to endure the foul by White. That's his first, the team's 5th. Caleb Riggs back in for MACU. Slaughter checks in as well. Omar Boone from Oklahoma City, transfer from Newman College in Kansas. High arcing free throw shot is good. MACU ahead 7-0 with 15:52 to go in the first half. White giving off to Johnson, back to White, penetrates to the free throw line. Lobbing for Collier right of the circle, down to 10 of the shot clock. Here's Handy. Working towards the baseline, guarded by Boone. Pulls it back beyond the arc, 4 to shoot. Handy pulls up for 3, and with Boone draped over him, he makes Manhattan Christian's first bucket of the day. Manhattan Christian in their first 2 games of the season, 12 of 43 from beyond the arc, 45% from the floor overall. MACU ahead, 7-3. Boone will step back from 3, and Boone will answer with a triple of his own. 6 quick points for Omar Boone off the bench, and it's a 10-3 MACU lead. White driving right through the middle, got fouled. First foul committed by MACU. It is on Boone. Jordan White, the team's leading returning scorer from last season, will be at the free throw line. Played in 19 games, didn't play till the second semester last year, makes the first. Averaged over 12 a game. Also the team's leading returning rebounder, guy who started last school year playing football at Drake University in Iowa. Or decided to focus on basketball and transferring to Manhattan Christian. A sophomore from Topeka, Kansas, missed the second. Harmison there for the rebound, couldn't stick it back. Malone will clear for MACU. 10-4, MACU in front. Boone had a poke loose. Riggs open from the corner, splashes home the 3. Caleb Riggs knocks down his first shot attempt. Another newcomer on this roster. It's 13-4 MACU. Johnson stepping through, got raked across the arm by Boone. He didn't think that he committed a foul, but the officials think otherwise, and that'll be the second foul on Boone. Officials saying it was on a shot attempt. R.J. Johnson III. Forward from Fayetteville, Arkansas. Off the back of the rim of the first. Johnson, first year with Manhattan Christian. First 2 years in school at Central Baptist in Arkansas. Just a regular redshirt 2 years ago. Last year, medical redshirt, so essentially a third-year freshman. Makes the second. 13-5 MACU with 14-13 to go in the opening period. Boone will remain in the game with 2 fouls. Zone pressure shown by Manhattan Christian. Slaughter setting a screen. Now Malone to his left. Got a little separation from about 7 feet out. And Malik Malone with his first bucket. Malone last year, redshirted with MACU, so certainly some familiarity, even though that this is his first game in an Evangels uniform. It's Tremont Lindsay in the game for the first time. His shot too high off the glass. Loose ball comes to Johnson, pulling up just inside the free throw line. No, Manhattan Christian gets it again. And a foul now drawn by the Thunder. Boy, Manhattan Christian already with a handful of offensive rebounds. That is not their strength. It is a small roster. And in their 2 games this season, they have been rebounded significantly, especially on the offensive glass. They were negative 15 rebound margin in their last game and nearly doubled up in offensive rebounds, 13-7. Just 4 second chance points in their first 2 games combined. Johnson makes the first. Dominic Ford, one of the leaders of this team, a senior into the game. Luke Weimer also on the floor for Manhattan Christian. Johnson makes 1 of 2. Ford's going to attack, saw lane, and goes on the baseline, up and in, off the glass, and Dominic Ford with his first points to make it 17-16. Now 7 minutes underway here. Weimer giving off to Handy, excuse me. Now Lindsay had a little space, lost it, ball loose, down to 10 of the shot clock. Handy going through the middle of the lane and drew more contact. That foul be on Riggs, his first, team's fourth. Briefly caught up with Coach Gamblin today, said it's been a struggle getting to this point. Team has had to quarantine twice in the past 3 weeks due to positive COVID tests, both players and coaching staff. He estimates they've had 3 practices with a full roster this year, as Lindsay could not finish at the basket. Boy, that ball nearly stolen, but Boone comes away with it on the far side. Hesitation dribble, finds Ford, whose money from 3 last year, missed a shot. But the long rebound to Boone. And now Riggs, floater on the baseline, and get the roll. Lowe battling for the rebound. It is kept alive and saved by Weimer. Manhattan Christian back the other way. Johnson pump fake out to Handy, lets it go for threes. Hit both threes for Manhattan Christian. That'll prompt Coach Gamblin to call a timeout. 17-9, MACU ahead with 12:07 to go in the first half. This is MACUathletics.com. Evangels ahead 17-9 here in their season opener in the first half. 12 minutes remaining prior to halftime. Riggs in the left wing for MACU. Finds Boone top of the circle. Retreats a dribble. Feed from Ford to Malone. Spinning to his right and able to dish it in. Malik Malone, junior from Killeen, Texas. First 2 years spent at Temple College in Texas. Weimer picks up the dribble to the left elbow, off to Handy. Handy, fadeaway shot, long two, no good. Tipped out, grabbed by Riggs. Riggs pushing up the far side, assessing traffic, fighting forward towards the corner, back to Riggs. Riggs' three from the wing, rattles in. Caleb Riggs, transfer from Connors State College from the town of OK, Oklahoma. Junior guard, and now we've got a double dribble called against Manhattan Christian. Jeff Butler and Isaac Hagen's back in for Johnson and Weimer. Well, Manhattan Christian, not exactly a big roster to begin with, and they downsize here with these latest substitutions. Really felt coming into this game could be a big day for the MACU bigs, especially Marvin Lowe. Ford lobbing down low to Malone, right in the middle. Few inches over Butler, couldn't hit the short shot, however. 22-9, MACU ahead. Butler's three, blocked by Malone. In transition, Riggs with the three, and Riggs, three-pointers here in the first half. He has made all of his attempts, and MACU ahead 25-9. Handy for the answer. Off the back of the rim. Nice box out by Boone. Boone looking to push. Handy, though, able to strip it. 2 on 4. Butler, the trailer, gets it. Working it around to Hagens. Drives in, left side, shovels around to Harbison. A foul was called on the floor prior to that. It's on low. Low's first, team's fifth. Brooks and Slaughter back in for MACU. Collier checks back in for Manhattan Christian. Now MACU just trying to go 1-0 today. Remember, last year started 20-0 before their first loss. Achieved the number one ranking in the national polls for the first time ever during a season. Butler got fouled by Slaughter on the way to the hoop. Of course, MACU, after winning the title in 2016, by default, the number one team in the poll, and then preseason number one the following season. And preseason number two, only behind Georgetown, team they jockeyed with for the top spot in the national polls last year. Butler's first shot rattles out. Jeff Butler, last two seasons spent at Nebraska Christian. Averaged 8 points per game last year for the Sentinels. Double figures in both games for Manhattan Christian this year. Makes 1 of 2 to cut the Thunder deficit to 25-10. Boone, left side, just too quick for Manhattan Christian, and lays it in. Handy for Hagens on the far side, sizing up Slaughter. Boone got a hand on it, able to regather. Butler left open for three, missed everything, and goes out of bounds. Jordan White replacing Handy. 27-10, MACU in front. Also, Mac, you mentioned early, did not lose on this floor last year, 17-0. Boone behind the back, shot just inside the left elbow, gets it to go. After a slow start from the floor for MACU, they are now on fire, leading by 19. Collier driving right, leaving for Hagens along the perimeter. Slinging to White. Collier touch pass to Hagens, good look. One of the better ball movements of the game, but couldn't make the shot. The Manhattan Christian tracks down the loose ball near the corner. Lindsay along the baseline, leaving for White. He'll try for three and hit. Excuse me, that's Butler. Jeff Butler with a three-pointer. Cuts MACU's lead to 29-13. A timeout called by the Thunder. We'll take the break as well. 8:29 to go in the first half. MACU ahead by 16 here on MACUathletics.com. Evangels ahead 29-13 here in their season opener. Next game will be Thursday against Wayland Baptist, even though it is a conference opponent. Conference games will not officially count until after the new year. Slaughter wide open from the left side. That's like you do it in practice, basically. So Carlos Slaughter with a triple. It is 32-13. MACU is now 5 of 7 from beyond the arc. Team that shot over 40% from three-point range last year, amongst the best in the country. Not a lot of space for Butler thanks to Kamanovich, and now a steal by Brooks. Brooks left side to the basket and in. MACU ahead 34-13, 7:35 left in the first half. Butler with some space left side, had it rim out, but White able to out-hustle MACU, get to the basket, fouled, and count the bucket. Manhattan Christian certainly reversing the trend, already their 8th offensive rebound of the day, and now they're up to 7, possibly 8 second chance points. Again, a total of 4 second chance points in their first 2 games combined. First 2 games of the season for Manhattan Christian. Not great at the free throw line, only 68%, but White converts the three-point play. That foul was on Brooks' first, the team's 7th. Tanner Hayden back in for Manhattan Christian. He'll play with 2 fouls. Trying to find Brooks in the corner, but Josiah Lewis left it too long. MACU ahead 34-16. Hagan's a lead for Butler around the left side of the perimeter. Now White's got it, crossing over to his left. Butler open for 3 off the kick out. Shot off the front of the rim. Kamanovich the rebound. Quickly ahead to Brooks. Brooks trying to step through. Draped over by Hagens. No foul was called. Ball is loose on the floor. Jump ball, possession arrow with the Thunder. On that last play, I guess I heard a shoe squeak against the floor. I thought it might have been a whistle. Malone back in. He'll replace Slaughter. Now it's Lewis, Brooks, Lowe, Kamanovich, and Malone on the floor for MACU. Hagen's going to the left, got Kamanovich in the air, but shied away from the contact, spun the opposite way, and then missed the shot. He had a foul waiting for him. Kamanovich now controlling. Malone in front of the Manhattan Christian bench. Had the pass deflected by Hayden, able to hustle and get it towards the corner. Well, Manhattan Christian certainly impressing with their hustle, even though they're down 18 here in the first half. Hayden's contested shot on the left side of the rim, and that'll trickle out of bounds. Again, for MACU, this is a team that is not at full strength for many reasons. Again, out with 5 players out today. Practice has been choppy, especially leading up to this game. Malone to the basket. Now to go off the back of the rim. Not only just getting out of their second quarantine earlier this week, but then a power outage earlier in the week after the ice storm. Hayden's 3 rims out. One-handed rebound by Lowe. Quickly giving it off to Lewis. Brooks will slow things down, dribble back towards the middle. 5:35 to go in the first half. MACU comfortably ahead of the moment, and Brooks, a contested shot right at the hoop with White on him. Lead is stretched back to 20. Hayden still looking for his first points. Leaves for Weimer. Down to 13 of the shot clock. Contested 3 by Hagens. Missed. Malone double team to the baseline. Able to pass out of it to Brooks. Brooks attacking again. Endures some contact. No foul called. And Brooks finishes strong. It's now 38-16. Mentioned it briefly before as White misses the free throw jumper. I think Demarius Brooks, emblematic as anyone, the MACU depth last year. Brooks takes to the basket again. And Brooks just having his way with the Thunder right now. A guy who could easily start basically for any other school in the NAIA ranks last season, but the MACU depth forcing him to bench, but what a contributor he was. And Hayden hits a three, and MACU wants a timeout. MACU now ahead 40-19, 4:11 to go in the first half. This is MACUathletics.com. Evangels ahead 40-19 with 4:11 to go in the first half. By the way, we're just getting started here on MACUathletics.com. Coming up at 3 o'clock this afternoon, a women's volleyball team will be in action against Wayland Baptist as MACU looks to win its 10th straight match. Lewis shaking, baking, floater short, but he was fouled. Foul is on Johnson, his first in the team's sixth, and the first foul in a long time. Now Josiah Lewis, transfer from SUNY Sullivan in New York, makes the first free throw. 30 games last year, 27 starts, over 12 points per game. Also over 5 assists per game, over 2-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. Making both free throws, it's 42-19. Lindsay looking for someone, finds Hayden cutting on the back through the middle of the lane and lays it in. Patience paying off for Manhattan Christian. MACU leading 42-21. Kamanovich behind the back, finding Slaughter, reverse lane with the left hand. MACU getting ready for a few substitutions. Leading 44-21, approaching the 3-minute mark. Hayden backing down on Malone. Malone got a piece of the shot attempt, his second block. Lewis quickly ahead right side, stripped away by Handy, and it went off Lewis's leg before going out of bounds. 4 substitutions for MACU. Ford, Boone, and Riggs back in, and Terrence Gaines, freshman from Denison, Texas, also in for the first time. Johnson with left-handed dribble, handing off to Weimer. Handy got the ball, but he'll be... I thought he was going to be an offense, called for maybe an illegal screen, but it's an offensive foul on Lindsay. Didn't see much, but MACU will take it. 44-21. MACU ahead here in their season debut. Mentioned preseason number 2 in the national polls. Gaines was looking for Malone, but the pass batted away. Preseason favorite in the conference, Lindsay, long three off the back of the rim. Tipped and grabbed by Malone. Preseason conference favorite, but not by much ahead of John Brown, who was second in the conference last year. Got a foul. That'll be on Boone, going for the loose ball, his third, and Manhattan Christian in the bonus. MACU got 6 of the 11 first-place votes. John Brown the other 5. John Brown, the number 10 team in the national polls in the preseason. Those teams split their regular season meetings last year. Did not meet in the conference tournament Lindsay making the front end. Now, Manhattan Christian last year, they won their conference, Midwest Christian Colleges Conference. 19-11, 8-1 in conference, an outright conference title. Remarkably, they started last year 1-10, but then won 18 of their final 19 games. Got a whistle and a foul against Manhattan Christian, and that should result in free throws for MACU. And it will be Gaines, the freshman, heading the line for the 1-1. Now, just the way that Coach Gamblin's roster, and a lot of rosters, especially in the Sooner Athletic Conference, you don't see that many freshmen. Now, Gaines, again, a bit of a rare freshman for Coach Gamblin, and missing the front end. Ford battling for the rebound with Hayden. Last touch by Hayden. He cannot believe it. Neither can Coach Strom for Manhattan Christian. Dominic Ford, once upon a time, was one of those freshmen, now a fifth-year senior. Now it has been determined that Ferdinand Handy Jr. has a small cut on his left hand. He will be tended to by athletic trainer to clean it up. Now a brief stoppage on the floor with 1:52 to go in the first half, and MACU ahead 44-23. That's incredible when doing the research on Manhattan Christian. You start the season 1-10. And he went 18-19, which included a 14-game win streak. Would have been the number 2 seed at the NCCAA Division II National Tournament before it was canceled due to COVID-19. Meanwhile, Malik Malone gets the inbound and was fouled by Handy. Foul occurred before the shot could go up. It'll be 1-1 from Malone. Now Malone able to sink the first free throw. Averaged over 15 points a game in his final season at Temple College. Malone makes both. It is now 46-23. Handy will check from 3 and hit again. He's been their best shooter here in the first half. Now 3 of 5 from beyond the arc. 3 of the team's 5 makes. Following up his 17-point performance last time out. Another good first half. Riggs gets the friendly bounce here in his first game of the Galkey Activity Center. He's got 4 triples here in the first half. And it's a perfect 4 for 4. MACU comes away with another steal. Riggs leaves for Gaines. That's going to be short, but Malone able to corral it underneath the basket. Gains his footing and knocks it in off the glass. MACU up to 51 points. It's 51-26, under a minute to play before half. Handy lets it fly. Couldn't connect, and Malone pulls down another rebound. 6 rebounds in the first half for Malone to go along with 6 points. He'll pull up for 3 and transition and barely hit the net. MACU is 7 of 10 as a team from 3. 54-26. Shot clock, game clock virtually identical. Under 20 seconds to play in the half. Handy attacking the basket. Is fouled by Ford with 6 seconds to go. Andy Manhattan Christian's leading scorer here in the first half, 9 points, 3 of 7 overall, 3 of 6 from beyond the arc. Sophomore from Kansas City, Kansas. Career high 17 in Manhattan Christian's last game. Averaged about 5 points per game last year. Trey Johnson will step on the floor for the final few seconds of this half for MACU. And he makes a pair, 54-28. Lewis will push, looking to get off another shot. Lets it go with about 2 seconds left off the mark. Gaines's tip will not count. Didn't go anyway. Now, MACU, strong offensive performance in their first half of the season. They're in front at the break, 54-28. We'll look at the first half numbers in a moment. This is MACUathletics.com. MACU ahead 54-28 against Manhattan Christian in their first game of the season, as MACU nearly doubling up. Manhattan Christian, a 26-point advantage at the break. And mentioned last year they shot 67% from the floor in the first half. Almost got there today, 64.5% from the floor, 20 of 31, and would have matched it if, again, you didn't have that kind of pre-halftime contested three taken by Josiah Lewis. So basically you subtract that, and it was another half in which MACU made 2/3 of their shots against Manhattan Christian. So 20 of 31 overall, 7 of 11 from three-point range, and 7 of 10 at the free throw line. Manhattan Christian held to just barely over 20% shooting, 7 of 34 overall, 5 of 18 from three-point range, so just 2 of 16 inside the arc. They were 9 of 13 at the free throw line. MACU a 25-17 advantage in rebounding. However, Manhattan Christian 8 offensive rebounds against MACU's 4. Second chance points 8-4 for Manhattan Christian. I mentioned a trend buster, just a total of 4 second chance points in their first 2 games combined, but they double that here in the first half. Each team with 7 turnovers, points off turnovers, 7-1 in favor for MACU. We knew that coming into this game, MACU's size would be an advantage, and that certainly has played itself out in a 24-4 advantage in the paint. MACU 7 assists on 20 made baskets, and Manhattan Christian 4 assists on 7 made baskets. Caleb Briggs led all scores with 12 points there in the first half. He was 4 of 4 from beyond the arc, leading that 7 of 11 charge for MACU as a whole. Omar Boone had 10, Malik Malone 11, and all three players coming off the bench today. And certainly speaking to the MACU depth without Terrence Jones and Tony Dorsey on the floor and able to play today. Josiah Lewis with 7 points there in his first half with MACU, and Demarius Brooks with 6. All coming on drives to the basket. Ferdinand Handy Jr. leading the way for Manhattan Christian with 11 points, 3 of 7 overall, and 3 of 6 from beyond the arc. The only double-figure score there in the first half. Next highest total was Tanner Hayden with 5. Leading rebounder for MACU, Malik Malone with 7. So what a first half for him, 11 points and 7 rebounds. Leading rebounder for the Thunder, Jordan White with 3. Again, MACU ahead 54-28, our first of 2 broadcasts on MACUathletics.com. Volleyball team will be taking on Wayland Baptist at 3 o'clock. Volleyball team 9-1, lost their first match of the year, but now have won 9 straight. Wayland Baptist 1-3 on the year. Again, a couple of conference opponents, but this is not an official conference game coming up. And we will see if the Evangels can make it 10 in a row when they take the court later today. Again, MACU in front 54-28 here at the break. Second half about 9 minutes away. We'll have it for you then. Keep it here at MACUathletics.com. About to start the second half with MACU ahead 54-28. Thank you for joining us here on this afternoon on MACUathletics.com. Alex Friedman, pleased to be joined with you. Our first of two presentations of the day with women's volleyball to follow at 3 o'clock. Well, the Angels basketball team at its season opener ahead by 26. Lewis, Kamanovich, Slaughter, Lowe, and Brooks, the five on the floor for MACU to start things off. For the Thunder, Hagens, White, Collier, Butler, and Hayden. MACU an incredible 7 of 11 shooting from the three-point line in the first half. And nearly made 2/3 of their shots from the floor overall. Lowe was looking for Kamanovich down low, and we've got a whistle away from the ball. It'll be a hold on Hayden. Oh, excuse me, that's on Butler. His second, team's first. Like MACU is going to turn it over on their first possession of the half, but again, a foul called against the Thunder. MACU today, and without 5 players total, including arguably their top 2 players in Tony Dorsey and Terrence Jones, as Coach Gamblin told me earlier today. It's not like we're without 5 Josh Gamblins here. We're without 5 impact players, but certainly has not deterred MACU so far, and they do end up turning it over after that steal by Hayden. Swings out to Butler, drives in left side. There'll be a charge called as Brooks able to step in and draw the contact, and Butler picks up his 3rd foul. Slaughter with a handoff to Brooks. Now to Kamanovich. Reversing to Slaughter. Drives in, floater. 6 feet out, good. Carlos Slaughter came up huge in a couple of games last year for MACU. Talked about how important he was to the roster overall, filling it in multiple positions. Hagens on his way up, got fouled by the aforementioned Slaughter. Isaac Hagens heading the line for 2 shots. Second year in the program after transferring from Nebraska Christian. Senior from Palm Bay, Florida. Rattles in the first free throw. Malik Malone will check in for Slaughter, who picks up his 3rd foul. What a strong first half from Malone with 11 points and 7 rebounds. Also a couple of blocks for Malone. Don't want to forget that. 56-30 after the Hagens free throws. Malone pulling up for 3, contested. Nothing else Butler could have done, giving up a couple of inches. Malone hits the 3 as well. MACU's shooting continues to be outstanding. Now a steal. Brooks, couple defenders on him. Missed, almost tipped it back in, and Butler able to clear for Manhattan Christian. Hayden, baseline, reversing. Nice move by Tanner Hayden for the basket. (59-32), about 2 minutes into the second half. Kamanovich driving in, was looking to leave for Lowe, but Kamanovich will be called for an offensive foul.
Offensive foul, called number 10, that's his first, team second.
Entering today, MACU with an 18-game home win streak. They've won 21 of the last 22 on this floor. 8 games between now and Thanksgiving. At the moment, none scheduled in December. Again, everything just so subject to change in our current environment as Hayden hits the 3 for Manhattan Christian. There will be 6 games against Student Athletic Conference opponent that will not count towards the conference standings. Malone, a little bit too strong off the glass. Rebound is a couple of Evangels down to the other end. It is 5-on-3. Hayden in transition, couldn't bury it. Lewis will pull down the rebound for MACU. Lewis 17 feet out. That's pure. Lewis up to 6 in his team debut. Collier out to Butler. A knuckling shot missed, and Malone with another rebound. Lewis gets a screen, lets it go for 3, and able to hit. Now 64-35, MACU advantage. Unbelievable three-point shooting display for MACU in its season opener. White able to move around a couple defenders and lay it in. It's 64-37. Official conference season as of now begins after the new year. There'll be 14 conference games, and as a result, it will be an unbalanced schedule. Will not be the true round robin. Josiah Lewis not worried about that. Worried about getting some more buckets here today. Nails another 3. Up to a 30-point lead at 67-37. Hayden has his contested 3 off the mark. Malone will pull it down. He'll bring it up himself. We've seen his skill set on full display. Tony Kimonovic lines up a 3. You would think the law of averages at some point, even if they are wide open looks, would come into play. Apparently not. There are now 9 of 12. Malone called for a foul near the basket. Excuse me, I shortchanged. I was looking at the wrong column. 11 of 15. That's hard to do in practice. Got a timeout called by the Evangels with 15:30 remaining. 30-second timeout. All MACU at 70-37. This is MACUathletics.com. Back in action here, Isaac Hagens makes the first free throw for MACU. Or excuse me, for Manhattan Christian, I should say. So now it is 70-39. Trey Johnson now in the game for MACU. Played the final few seconds of the first half. Malone reversing back to his right. Through a couple defenders and in. Only one an impressive first game for Malik Malone. Nearing a double-double now. Hagens the kick out to Butler. Space for 3 and able to hit. Now that'll make Manhattan Christian 7-23, paneling in comparison to the 11-15 for MACU from beyond the arc. Kimonovic picking up the dribble. Leaving it for Lewis. Down to 14 of the shot clock. Lewis crossing over. Had to miss eventually. Hagens able to come away with a rebound. Leaves for White. Goes to the basket. Finger roll no good. Hagens the rebound. Finds Butler off the scramble and the three good. Well, Manhattan Christian might not win this game today, but one of the positive things has got to be the second chance points. Mention how they just really struggle to get offensive rebounds and take advantage of second chances in their first two games. Lewis lost control of the ball, but it was touched by White before going out of bounds. Riggs, Ford, and Boone in for MACU as Brooks, Lewis, and Kamanovich out. Boone finding Riggs, who is 4 of 4. This will be a long two. Doesn't matter, though. Did have his left foot on the line. You could see it from our broadcast position. 74 to 75, or excuse me, 45. MACU, good defensive stop there with Ford and Johnson taking the ball away. Malone will be called for a travel. Andy, Lindsay, and Johnson will come in for Manhattan Christian. Now, right now it is the Evangels ahead handily in this game. Earlier this week, it was the Lady Evangels with a big win against Baptist Bible. I'll tell you about that in a moment as we've got a timeout. MACU ahead 74-45, 13:31 to go. This is MACUathletics.com. Evangels leading here 74-45 in their first game of this season. Lindsay controlling for Manhattan Christian. Andy, who led Manhattan Christian in points in the first half, briefly had it. Giving off to Butler. Shields off with the left hand. Lindsay crashes in, gets the offensive rebound. Off to Hayden. Shot off the glass and in. Well, before the timeout, told you about the Lady Evangels, in which they rolled Baptist Bible 116-31 on Tuesday night, which included them outscoring Baptist Bible 38-4 in the first quarter, 27-6 in the third quarter. Lexi Hernandez nearly had a triple-double, 16 points, had a program record 10 steals. Johnson stepping through, couldn't finish with left hand, got the rebound, tried to slip it to Riggs. It's loose and taken away by Manhattan Christian. Hernandez 16 points, 10 steals, 8 assists. Mackenzie Lamer 31 points, was 7 of 12 from beyond the arc. Leah Ensley was 17. Shelby Krause continuing her strong first games as a collegian with 14 points and 7 rebounds. MACU improved to 2-0, 200th career coaching win for Coach Hannah Moeller, so congratulations to Coach on that accomplishment. Women's team will play on Thursday ahead of the men against Wayland Baptist, and what a challenge that'll be against the number 2 ranked Wayland Baptist Flying Queens. That game will tip off at 6 o'clock. We'll have double headers both next Thursday and Saturday. It's Wayland Baptist and Panhandle State. Still 12 minutes to go in this one. MACU ahead 74-47. It's a foul on Harmison near the baseline. Lady Evangels in that game on Tuesday, they forced 41 turnovers, program record. 85-point margin of victory, second largest ever. Malone gets it in the post, gets the turnaround off the glass. Back the other way, though, Johnson with the bucket. Coach Gamblin not happy about the defense. Got a timeout. Officials timeout, some debris on the floor. Weimer will come in for Manhattan Christian. Want to correct something also said during the women's game. Was unaware that, again, and I'll stress this if you're looking at the MACU schedules, any game that's played against a Sooner Athletic Conference opponent through the end of 2020, the calendar end of 2020, does not count towards conference standings. Ford will let it go for 3 as the shot clock was winding down. Missed it softly off the back iron. Handy to the basket, fouled, couldn't finish though. Clock stopped with 11 minutes even. That'll be Ford's second, team's fourth. Two free throws for Handy, making the first. Manhattan Christian today as a team, 14 of 18 at the line. So 76-51 after the para makes. Under 11 minutes to play. MACU again looking to go to 1-0 and run this home win streak to 19 straight. Ford going to his left. Will be called for a travel. Johnson leaving it for Handy, right of the circle. Crossing, stepping back, in and out. Malone skies in for the rebound. Stretch bounce pass ahead to Riggs. Gets his feet in traffic and gets the roll again. Second one he's got. He stays perfect from beyond the arc. Now 5 for 5. 17 for Riggs. Johnson, the long jumper, off the mark. Here comes Boone. Lost control of it. Will be called for a carry. They'll be interested to hear Coach Gamblin's take of how much stock do you place in this game? The team is, as we mentioned, dealing with various ailments, has barely practiced at full strength. There have been 2 significant quarantines in the last 3 weeks. So Weimer off the mark on that 3-point try. Obviously, your depth is tested today. You still have a pretty strong offensive performance. There's always going to be things to improve upon. But just given all the factors that go into this, again, good or bad, how much stock do you place into it? Briggs is going to try for three again. It was way off the mark, but it won't count because there was a foul away from the ball. Briggs, who had been perfect, missed the basket that time. Lowe receiving the inbound, and will be called for the offensive foul, barreling over Harmison. Lindsay called for a travel in the middle of the lane. Manhattan Christian's next game after today will be Wednesday against Doane College. Now, Manhattan Christian team that lost 80% of its scoring from last year, lost their top 4 scorers, top 3 rebounders, 9 players overall, last from last year's roster, including 5 seniors. Another make by Malik Malone. MACU ahead by 30 at 81-51. Lindsay the kick out to Johnson, wide open for 3 and able to bury it. Boone, no look pass to Lowe, got fouled on the way up.
It's under foul, number 14, Luke Weimer. That's his second, team 6. Mark Lowe at the line, shoots 2.
Sent Lowe to the free throw line, who last year's 62% shooter. Overall, averaged over 7 points a game. Stepped into a starting role when Cedric Wright hurt in the second half of the year. Lewis, Brooks, and Slaughter back on the floor for MACU after a pair of makes from Lowe. Andy had it stripped by Brooks, loose, but it comes out to Weimer, sets his feet. The shot won't go. The rebound by Slaughter. Boone finding Slaughter wide open from the corner and does what MACU has been doing all day, hitting from distance. Carlos Slaughter in double figures here in his first game of the season. Lindsay off balance fighting Weimer, threw it behind his back to Handy, down the 12 of the shot clock for the Thunder. Handy, nice move to the basket. He's coming on strong for Manhattan Christian now these last 2 games. Team high 15 this afternoon. 86-56. MACU's never been threatened in this game. Only thing threatened on that play was the rim. As Lowe got it and throws it down with 2 hands. (88-56). Andy lines another one up off the back of the rim. Low foul from behind by Harmison. Puts MACU in the bonus.
That's his 3rd, team 7. Is at the bonus.
Marvin Lowe went to Tulsa Central High School and first 2 seasons at Connors State. Valuable player now in his second season with MACU. Couldn't get the second free throw to go. It's 89-56. Lindsay lost his footing. Ball is loose. MACU's got a 3-on-0 for a time being. Johnson kind of made a 3-on-1. Eventually, Boone finds Brooks, and MACU in front 91-56 off the 11th turnover day by Manhattan Christian. Lindsay pulls from 3. Misses in the low there for the rebound. Brooks, hesitation move, then kicks into the gear and gets to the basket. Mentioned this is a guy who was an outstanding shooter last year, but is doing all his damage at the hoop today. Johnson back at the other end, makes a 3. His second make today, and MACU turns it over, trying to get it up into the front court. 5:22 left. MACU in command at 93-59. Lindsay, the cut from Handy, but was off balance, and shot doesn't go as a result. Boone trying to bounce it into Brooks, but it's taken away by Harmison. Nice spin move by Johnson to create space, but he let the shot short, and then Harmison will kick it out of bounds. Couple of new players on the floor for Manhattan Christian for the first time. Number 4, Desmond Lindsay. Number 2, Caden Hurla. Jump ball forced underneath the basket. Thunder will get the ball. Also, number 10, Jason Davis. And number 11, Ian Uphoff. So 5 freshmen on the floor right now for Manhattan Christian. Coach Strom looking to get his younger players some reps here. MACU, though, still in the regular rotation. Davis hits a 3-pointer. But then again, MACU doesn't have much more beyond the regular rotation right now. Mentioned 5 players out. Only kind of true deeper reserve available today is Trey Johnson. We've seen him in bits and pieces today. Boone commits a foul. It is his 4th, team 6th. Like Terrence Gaines has played a little bit of time in the first half, getting ready to check back in. Bounce feed into Harmison. Able to not shy away from Lowe. And there's Lewis again. 3 in front of the MACU bench. Lewis in his team debuts got 15, 3 of 6 from beyond the arc. Answered at the other end by Hurla. A lot of these guys hadn't even appeared in the first 2 games for Manhattan Christian. Pass denied that time by the Thunder. Lindsay, pump fake, basket good. It's like MACU wants a substitution timeout. That's exactly what's going to happen. 96-69 now the score. Gaines, Johnson, Kamanovich, Ford in for MACU. They've only got 4 guys on the floor right now. Like Demarius Brooks will stay in. Under 3 minutes to play. Johnson, contested hook shot to his right is good. Trey Johnson with his first basket. The junior from Harrow, Oklahoma. Now Gaines with a steal. Gaines, free lane to the basket, lost control of it. He was thinking about going in for the dunk. Able to regain control and lay it in, however. 2 points all the same. MACU up to 100 points in this contest. Another 3 on the way, made by Jaston Davis. Under the 72. It's 54-28 at halftime. MACU shooting over 66% of this game. Johnson gets the bounce feed from Kamanovich and is fouled. Johnson at the line for a pair of free throws, gets the roll in the first. Johnson was 4 for 8 at the line last year. Blaze Driscoll, Cole Wittern now in the game for the Evangels. Pair of makes by Johnson. It's 102-72. Bounce feed knocked away by Gaines. Stretch pass ahead for Johnson, streaking to the basket and lays it in. Under a minute and a half to play. Hurla's 3 off the back of the rim. Long rebound gathered by Ford. Dominic Ford behind the back, crossing over. Couldn't hit it with a left hand. Johnson the offensive rebound and the putback. Davis short. Might have been tipped. No, it was not. It's contested by Driscoll. It's 106-72. Yeah, they mentioned some of the Evangels that have gone on, such a big part of last year's team. Congratulations in order for Ashford Golden. They recently signed a contract with a team in Portugal. As Gaines there for the tip-in. Sounds like he will be starting his pro career over there in the very near future. Best of luck to him. Graduated with 4.0 GPA last year with a degree in psychology, being named a NAIA All-American. Foul on Gaines will send Desmond Lindsay to the line, the younger brother of Tamont Lindsay. 108-72, MACU in front. Lindsay misses the first. 25.5 seconds left after this game is over. We'll take our look inside the numbers and see if Coach Gamblin might have a couple moments to chat. Armisen the offensive rebound, and he was fouled. And women's volleyball team will be playing at 3 o'clock this afternoon against Wayland Baptist. Now Evangel's going to win its 19th straight on this floor, and now 121 of the last 22 they played here at the Galkey Activity Center. against Manhattan Christian as well. Will continue their win streak against the Thunder, 5-0 since MACU's been an NAI program, and their 7th straight overall against the Thunder. Ford will dribble it out. MACU will come away with a 108-73 win here in the season debut. Well, the Evangels rolling the Thunder here in the first game of the 2020-2021 season as MACU improves to 1-0. We will take a break. When we come back, we look at the numbers and also see if we'll be joined by Coach Gamblin, but we'll be back with a post-game in a moment as MACU rolls to victory. Final margin of 35, 108-73. This is MACUathletics.com. Evangels victorious, 108-73 in their season opener against Manhattan Christian. MACU shoots 65% from the floor in this game, 41-63 overall. Incredible, 14 of 22 from three-point range, 7 of 11 in each half. MACU was 12 of 16 at the free throw line. Manhattan Christian 33% shooting, 22-66. They were 13 of 38 from three-point range after a tough shooting first half. Got it going there in the second half and around to scoring 45 points, 16 of 23 at the free throw line, where the Thunder rebounds well in advantage of MACU at 45-26. Manhattan Christian, though, did some decent work, though, on the offensive rebounds, getting to loose balls, 10-9 advantage in the offensive rebounds, and had a MACU 13-8 in second chance points. And now I mentioned for Manhattan Christian, tough day today, but you do get to take some positives away of converting some second chance points, which they really failed to do in their first two contests of the season. MACU committed 17 turnovers. Manhattan Christian with 14 points off turnovers, though, were 17-18 in favor of MACU. They had 6 steals, and Manhattan Christian had 9 on the day. MACU had 19 assists, 41 baskets, 15 assists, 22 baskets for Manhattan Christian. Leading all scorers today was Caleb Riggs. MACU Evangel Garden, his debut, 6 of 7 overall, 5 of 5 from three-point range. 1 of 5 double-figure scores. Josiah Lewis, I missed one. It was because he was listed at the bottom. Actually, today's leading scorer was Malik Malone. And his Evangel debut, 20 points and 11 rebounds for a double-double. Malone 8 of 12 overall and a 2 of 2 from deep. So Malone 1 of 6 Evangels in double figures. Riggs with 17. Josiah Lewis with 15. 12 for Carlos Slaughter. 10 each for Omar Boone and Demarius Brooks. And you just look at the shooting performances from the floor. Malone 8 of 12. Riggs 6 of 7. Boone 4 of 4. Slaughter 4 of 4. Brooks 5 of 10, Lewis 5 of 9 on the day. Leading rebounder was Malone as well with those 11 boards. Also had a couple assists and a couple of blocks. Ferdinand Henny Jr. led Manhattan Christian in scoring for the second straight game. He had 15 today, 4 of 11 overall, 3 of 9 from deep. 12 for Tanner Hayden on 5 of 10 shooting, 10 each for Jeff Butler and R.J. Johnson the third. No one had more than 3 rebounds on the day for the Thunder, as hard as that may be to believe. A cadre of players with 3 each. Jordan White, Isaiah Collier, Jeff Butler, and R.J. Johnson III. Leading assist man for the Thunder today was Taymont Lindsay with 6 for MACU. It was 7 from Boone. So certainly a lot of notable performances in some team debuts for MACU today, and a team that always, under Coach Gamlin, has depth and certainly needs it now. Playing without 5 players today due to various ailments, as noted, which included Terrence Jones, arguably the team's top player, as well as their point guard, Tony Dorsey. So happy to be joined by Coach Gamlin now as he makes his way up to join us. And Coach, big victory for you here today, but as I kind of posited the question during the game, good or bad, just given the roster fluctuations and everything, how much stock do you put in today's game?
Well, I mean, games are precious, so let's start with that. Every day is Game 7, and we don't know if we're going to get to play again or what's going to happen. If we get a call tonight that somebody doesn't feel good, you're always on eggshells. And so first and foremost, it's a positive in that sense. And, we really shot it well. And that's due to the guys that have been able to work. They have really worked on their game. They're comfortable and they're confident shooting the ball, and that shows. But outside of that, there wasn't a ton of good, and it's just, and we've talked about this before, we haven't had a chance to practice, it's been a little bit of everything, and we've been, in and out of quarantine 2 times, and we're missing, a lot of guys, and but it's a credit to our kids for sticking it out. And I thought most of the night we played pretty hard, but you can tell we're out of shape. We're huffing and puffing pretty good, but it's a positive to play a game, and always a positive to win a game.
You mentioned the shooting and guys putting in the work. 12 of 16, 14 to 22 as a team today. That's hard to do in practice from beyond the arc, but your guys did it in a game, and sometimes it was all to good ball movement. Sometimes it was just guys making tough shots.
Yeah, no, it was, I think a lot of the time it was guys just making tough shots. We didn't move it extremely well, but we do have guys that love to hoop, man. They love to work, and they work on their games. And so we're still fighting through the stickiness and also knowing where you're supposed to be. And then, of course, when you get into foul trouble, now we're in positions that, just frankly we haven't been in practice yet. So it was really a credit to how hard they work individually. They really do. I thought Josiah made a couple really tough ones in the second half. And, of course, Caleb Riggs was outstanding all night.
Malik Malone, a tremendous game, a double-double, and I'm sure he – maybe more so than others, itching for a game after redshirting last year, but we really got to see all the skills on display in this game.
Special talent, man. Really, really good kid. was out 2 years after Temple and then redshirted here to get eligible. Malik has no ceiling to how good he can be, and he has to continue to develop habits and get better. And if he does that, he has a chance to be really, really special. But that was what we talked about in the locker room. Is he scored it? I think we had 6 guys in double figures. But what Malik did best tonight is he went and rebounded the basketball. 11 rebounds in 23 minutes is impressive to say the least.
Last question I'll ask you is about a guy who didn't play today because he caught my eye with some things he did, and that's Tony Dorsey. I noticed pregame warm-ups. He's feeding passes to Biggs during the game. He's charting the game. The cliche is your point guard is your coach on the floor, but even though he couldn't play today, he was literally another coach for you.
Oh, absolutely. And there's not too many better than that young man, and he's trying to do everything he can to help our team. Those other 4 just got out of quarantine, 4 or 5 days, whatever it was. So they're just kind of figuring things out after being in there for a while. But Tony he's just hurt, So he's been around the whole time, and I'm so thankful for his leadership and his toughness. We need that from him because we're playing a lot of new guys. Like you said, Malik and Tony were here. They've been here, but they haven't been on the floor. They haven't seen these situations. So we need his leadership, and, I'm just proud to be his coach.
Well, Coach, thanks as always for your time today. Congratulations on this win. As certainly as you alluded to earlier, hopefully we will see you on Thursday.
I hope so.
Go well.
Appreciate you, Alex.
All right, that's Coach Josh Gamblin. Thank him for his time, always giving his breakdown here on this victory for MACU 108-73 as the Evangels again 1-0. Now on the season for the nation's number-ranked 2 team. 19 straight wins here at home, 22 of the last 23 victorious at the Galkey Activity Center. Again, as of now, scheduled to play on Thursday against Wayland Baptist. That game tips at approximately 7:45. It will be after the women's game against the Flying Queens. That game to start at 6. So again, a doubleheader on the hardwood here coming up on Thursday night. November the 5th, and we'll have all the coverage here on MACUathletics.com. We are not done, however, on MACUathletics.com for today. If you're still with us on the stream right now and see the video, you can see the volleyball net being set up. Evangels will take on Wayland Baptist at 3 o'clock. They have won 9 straight. Longest win streak since becoming an NAI program in 2007. They swept Wayland Baptist in both meetings last year. Wayland Baptist enters today at 1-3, but Wayland Baptist, a team that traditionally has been excellent, down last couple of years, but trying to get back to where they have been more than they haven't in its recent history. So we will see if MACU takes on the Pioneers. Again, as the Pioneers for Wayland Baptist in women's volleyball, it's that women's basketball. They're the Flying Queens and nothing else. So we will see if MACU can make it 10 in a row when they play this afternoon. And that is coming up at 3 o'clock, so about an hour and 15 minutes from now. We will have all the action then. We hope you can join us or continue to join us, shall we say. But again, we'll take a break for the time being as the Evangels basketball team rolling to a 108-73 victory. For Sports Information Director Adam Stanek, for Head Coach Josh Gamblin, his staff, Athletic Director Marcus Moeller, this is Alex Friedman signing off for now. But again, we'll be back in a little bit. This is MACUathletics.com.